Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good. Guys, we've just had Joyce beat Carlos Takam in the 6th round. Poor stoppage. Poor stoppage. I didn't think the stoppage was great. I think... Let's go from round 1. So Takam came out, and I thought Takam was a sharper guy. Joyce... He was very, very, very slow. He looked very, very slow. But thing is with Joyce, like I've said this before about Joyce, he doesn't look great, if I'm honest with you. He looks a really, really poor fighter when you look at him. There's nothing exceptional about him. But I think he's a lot better than what he looks. He's one of those fighters that doesn't look great inside the ring. He's quite methodical. He's slow. He's robotic. But he's quite effective. He's got a great chin, and he took a lot of punches. Like, Takam battered him in some of those rounds. He was landing clean shots. And, Joyce just took him, walked forward, and, war kind of was wearing Takam down. Takam is old. He's a young guy. He's been in a lot of wars. I said this before in the pre-fight video that, Takam's been in a lot of wars. He's had a lot of hard fights. And, I always felt like Joyce would wear him down and probably stop him late. He stopped him, in the middle, 6 rounds. But in terms of the performance, if we're looking at Joyce's performance against, that performance, and we're talking about him going in and fighting at world level, we're talking about, him fighting against guys like Usyk, Joshua, Fury, Wilder, Ruiz even. I just don't think he has enough punching power, to be honest. I don't think he's a big puncher. And I know he got the stoppage against Takam. But he's at that stage of his career where he's getting on the other side of his career. So it's hard to judge of this fight, because like I said, I thought Takam was, past his sell-by date. He's not in his prime. Takam's not the fighter he used to be. And he's been in a lot of wars, so there's a lot of miles on the clock, so it's hard to judge. We really need to see Joyce now. Obviously, he's mandatory to AJ. Analyzing that, I just don't see how he beats AJ. Even though he could be a horrible style for Joshua if he's able to absorb Joshua's, I just think he's too slow, and I think Joshua's too fast. Joshua's not the fastest himself on his feet. But Joshua's got quick hands, and Joshua's got better movement than Joyce. Takam, if you look at the early part of that fight, Takam was getting out of the way of his punches, of Joyce's punches. He was making Joyce miss a lot. Joshua's not going to get worn down like that. Remember, Joshua's a big guy himself. I just don't see him beating Joshua. I think Joshua's too fast. I think he throws too many punches. I think he's too aggressive. I just think he stops. I just think he stops Joyce, and I think he might even do it early. Now, people think that Joyce has got a granite chin. I think the punches that he was taking against Takam, I just don't think you can do it against Joshua. I just don't think you can take those kind of punches against Joshua. I think Joshua, you take those type of punches against Joshua clean, you're gonna get worn down. I don't care who you are. Joshua hits too hard. You may have a granite chin and you may be tough. You aren't gonna be able to take punches like that off Joshua. You just not. I just don't think you are. Flush, especially this guy takes flush punches. Like he doesn't ride he takes them flush on his chin, and he's got a great chin, but it's a heavyweight division, man. You can only take so many of those punches. Especially somebody that's your size. Joshua's going to be as big as Usyk, as heavy as Usyk, and he's a very vicious combination puncher. I just don't see, like, listen, it could be a tough fight if he does take Joshua's punches, and maybe the thing is with Joyce, he doesn't even make the fight physical though. See, Joshua, you could wear him down because Joyce is a big guy. But in this fight, he didn't even use his physicality against Takam, really. He didn't look to grab hold of Joyce and push him around. I mean, Joyce didn't really look to hold Takam and push him around, use his physicality. And I think he'd have to do that against Joshua. And if he doesn't do that, how's Joshua going to get tired? Because I don't think Joyce hits hard enough to really trouble Joshua, right? Even though I think Joshua is vulnerable, I just think that he's too methodical. He's too slow for me to cause a dent in Anthony Joshua for me. I just think Joshua walks through it and would stop him. I just don't think Joyce is good enough. I might be sounding too harsh. Maybe I'm sounding too harsh. Maybe I'm being unfair. Maybe Joyce might cause Joshua. Maybe Joyce might be completely wrong for Joshua, possibly. But I just don't see, looking at him, I just don't see anyone being able to take flush shots of Joshua for too long. I think he's too spiteful. I think his combinations are deadly. He's too fast. And the other thing I worry for Joyce is I don't know whether he's going to land that easy on Joshua. Joshua's not got the fastest feet, but Joshua's a lot faster than Joyce. So I feel like Joshua's going to make him miss, and then Joshua's going to make him pay. Because Joyce doesn't have a great defense. He gets caught with a lot of shots. Takam was catching him. And bearing in mind, let's not forget, Joshua's a lot bigger than Takam, taller than Takam. I think I don't know. It's one of them where I don't know, because the level that Joyce has been fighting at, we can't really gauge, because he hasn't really fought anybody that's a world title contender right now. Takam's a guy that's kind of a gatekeeper now for the young guys coming through. He's not a top heavyweight. Does Joyce beat Randy Ruiz? Does Joyce beat Wilder? Does Joyce beat... I would say right now, on the performances that we see, no. But again, Joyce might be a guy that just may be a problem for anybody, because his style is so awkward. Like, he's tough. He's got a great engine. He's got a great chin. He hasn't got power. He hasn't got great power, but he can kind of wear you down. Especially imagine like him against Wilder. If he's walking Wilder down, maybe you could wear someone like that down. But I just think that he's too open. And I think someone like Wilder, for example, would just clean him out with the right hand. I just don't think he'd be able to take Wilder's right hand. And Joshua's, I don't think he's as big a puncher as Wilder, but I think Joshua's combination punches may be a problem for Joyce, because Joshua throws punches in bunches. And Tyson Fury, for me, here's the thing with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is just, he's big. He's fast. He's bigger than Joyce. He's heavy himself. And Joyce is too slow for Tyson Fury. He's too slow. I don't think he'd land many punches on Fury, to be honest with you. I think Fury will box his head off. Just give him angles. Too fast. He's so fast on his feet. I don't know. It's a tough one. Like I said, I think we need to see Joyce is one of those guys that I can't really make a clear prediction. Like, although I don't think he beats the top guys, I won't be surprised if he does, because if he can walk through them and wear them down, he may possibly well do. But going off the eye test, and Joyce might be one of those fighters where you can't really go off the eye test, because he's got an awkward style and you just don't know how he's going to fare. I'm giving my opinion that I think Joshua would stop him, but then again, I could be wrong, because Joyce has an awkward style that might cause Joshua all sorts of problems. It wouldn't shock me if he does. But I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I'll be honest with you. It's a tough one. Because I think Joshua's just... He's too spiteful. But it's good that he's mandatory now. Hopefully he gets his shot. I think if Joshua does beat Usyk, then that's a good fight down the line, especially if the Fury fight doesn't get made. A lot of people were saying that they think Joyce would walk through Usyk. Again, I disagree. I think Usyk would be too fast on his feet. I think he'd move too much, and I think Usyk would basically do what he did in the WBSS. Although that was 3 rounds, I just don't think Joyce hits hard enough, and I just think Usyk's too skilled. I think Usyk's too skilled. I don't think there'd be a stoppage either way, but I just think Usyk would outbox him personally. In my opinion, I just think that I think again, it's hard with Joyce. It's hard to until we see him in there with the top guys. I can't really say. Until we see him in there with the top guys, we can't really be 100% because he has got an awkward, horrible style. Yeah, so until we see him in with a Joshua, in with a Fury, that's when we'll really find out how good Joyce is. In with a Ruiz, in with someone like that. That's when we'll know whether his engine, his chin, his, come forward kind of style, can he wear down some of the elite heavyweights? That's what we want to see. I'm not sure whether he can, but he may be able to. I think most people on that performance don't really give him much of a chance against the top tier heavyweights. But again, I think Joyce might be one of those guys where we may have to wait until we actually see him in there with an elite heavyweight to make that judgment. Because he's got such an awkward style, he could be a problem. Nobody's going to look at Joyce and think he's special. He just doesn't have that kind of style. He's not impressive, but he gets the job done and he's winning. So you can't knock him. And the next fight has to be, for me, the next fight, whether it's Joshua or not, has to be a credible fight. When I mean a credible fight, I think he needs to jump in there with an Andy Ruiz, with someone that's an elite heavyweight. He needs to jump in with somebody that's a top. Dillian White, I don't think Dillian White would fight him, to be honest, but he needs to jump in with a top guy. He needs to jump in with a top tier heavyweight, to be honest. I think these type of fights, he's got enough of them now. I think it's time to get into the serious business, serious stuff. I would like to see him fight Dillian White. Even the Derek Chisora fight, I wouldn't mind seeing that. That's a good fight. I think Joyce v Chisora is a good fight, to be honest with you. Wouldn't mind seeing that. But I want to see him step up now, and see how he does, because I think he's proven that he can get guys like Takam, Dubois. He needs to step up to that next level. And the next level may be someone like Chisora. It may be someone like, if you want to step up even above Chisora, he may feel he's above Chisora now. Someone like a Ruiz, maybe target someone like that. Former world champion, maybe a Parker. That might be a good fight. So yeah, leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think about Joyce's performance. Do you think he can beat AJ? Leave your thoughts. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.